Hey citizens, citizen of the future here, and welcome back. This is for my video contribution for the Lighthouse Report edition number 5. If you guys don't know who I am a Industry 4.0 technology researcher, and my research niche is specifically around traditional finance digitalization and the transformation that's silently sweeping the globe. And I like helping create educational research to inspire other forward deep thinkers to dig into the regulated side of things compared to all this shitcoin talk and hype from the crypto Twitter side of things. So this may be boring to some of you guys, but this is around traditional finance and the digitalization of documents. And this is for the Lighthouse Report edition number 5. Which is a research report with a bunch of beauties, and it's great to be a part of, and I hope this helps give you guys some insight into this transformation that is taking place. So this edition, I'm specifically targeting interoperability and interoperability of supply chain finance platforms. So digital trade ecosystems and how they interoperate with other ecosystems. So let's dive into it, guys. This is just a quick summary. You know, the last edition number 4 was a full-on broad breakdown of the digitalization of global trade, the importance of digital data, etc., etc. So what we're getting at now is we're going to talk about one of the world's biggest problems, and it's a digital island problem. It's a fragmentation of global trade. There are millions of different intermediaries in global trade, and they all have different systems, and these different systems don't interoperate. So this is what we call a digital island, is when we have a little island that does not connect with other ecosystems. It doesn't have that interoperability. So what I put together here is, as you guys should know from my reports, I've talked about these global standards, these regulations that are being put in place by standard setting bodies. And this is specifically around paperless trade. So this is an example that I put to really put this concept to use is grain. Everyone can relate to grain. These are grain silos. They hold grain, they're for storing grain. So what I did with this, so I got creative. I was like, hey, how am I going to show you guys that if a network doesn't meet standards, global standards, it's not going to connect to the global system. So what I did here is we got grain silos representing regulated ecosystems that meet these standards. So I put in, for examples, TradeLens, trade assets powered by blockchain, XDC network, and Inigio's digital documents, CargoX, and Morpheus network. They meet global standards. And when in one of these other ecosystems, for example, just a hype-based ecosystem like Shiba Inu, it does not meet these standards. So it does not connect. It gets denied. WeTrade, this was a private trade finance network that got shut down. They pulled funding. It wasn't meeting expectations. So this one got burned. And then insert, you know, random shit coins. So like Hex, whatever these pump and dump ones are that you can think of, you could put it right there. So what's going to happen is regulations come out, and these regulations, if it doesn't meet it, you are not connecting to the global liquidity hub of digital assets. So that's why I say, you know, research only if you're investing in crypto. Not financial advice, but make sure it has, the ecosystems have real utility. They have real connections with real world entities that breadcrumb to global standards. If they don't meet global standards, it's not going to succeed, and you're going to lose money once the hype dies out. Okay, back to the report. So that's what I explained. Here's just a thing to explain. You know, I'm warning you guys, regulatory standards, one day regulation's going to come and play. Shitcoin's going to get shut down. So now let's quickly hop into 3 interoperability proof of concepts and events in global trade industry. Quant Network Overledger. Everyone should know what Quant Network is. This is an enterprise interoperability solution. and it's got some really big partners and backing. Oracle, Hyperledger, a lot of different things use Overledger for their interoperability solution. So let's just quickly dive into it. Overledger was created by Quant, and it's got its first blockchain agnostic API gateway. So this is saying that Overledger connects to other ecosystems that have open APIs. Overledger acts as like an operating system, like Windows or Macs, as it just takes 3 lines of code to be entered into a computer, and you can access Overledger, which is their interoperability solution, to move value between different ecosystems. So this is creating a network of networks. And how does it do that? So it allows frictionless value and data to move between different networks. So example, Overledger can connect to Bitcoin, XRP, XLM, XDC, IOTA, Hyperledger, Corda, TradeLens, Contour by using gateways and APIs. This enables interoperability by connecting legacy businesses to multiple new era public and private distributed ledger networks and CBDC sidechains. This gives new access to the liquidity of digital assets and allows an enterprise chain to upgrade at scale across their business. So for example, SIA chain. And then I put this visual together. So Quant was actually selected for Deloitte's shortlist solution, which you guys can read, for provides a secure, simple, and cross-effective API connection to all major DLTs. Overledger's highly modular architecture offers universal interoperability through the connection or the continuous addition of DLT and API connectors. So research Quant if you haven't. Okay, next thing that is huge. Singapore settles its first legal electronic bill of lading transaction. So this first started in 2021 when Singapore made an amendment to its Electronic Transactions Act, ETA, and adopted UNCITRAL, Model Law on Electronic Transferable Records. That's a framework for validating electronic documents in their jurisdiction. So it allows bills of lading, or electronic bills of lading to have the legal status as a paper equivalent. So this first transaction happened July 29th, 2022, just a couple months ago. So this is how early we are. Citizens, pay attention to that. This is why I try and pitch this, is to inspire other forward thinkers. The EBL process was facilitated by the firms SDocs, Cargo Docs, and their paperless trade platform, which updated the terms of its electronic document services and users agreements in 2021 to align with the changes in Singaporean law and ensure the validity of EBLs on its system, electronic bills of lading. And this was between BHP, this Jim Chun group, under a letter of credit, and it was supported by the National Australia Bank, Hong Kong branch, acting on behalf of BHP and a Chinese trade finance bank. So here's a cool visual that you guys can look at right here, the digitalization of trade. You know, we're at a very early starting point. Here's a little process flow, Singapore, update to the electronic transferable records in trade, and then here's SDoc being the platform that put this together. Here's some important snippets that you guys can read in this one. Listen to this. This transaction is a significant milestone for digitalizing global commodities trade, and we are thrilled to lead the way on a journey with the aim of achieving digital trade at scale. Whoa, that gives shivers down my back. Digital trade at scale, baby. That's where we're heading. Okay, number 3. Digital Container Shipping Association, EBL Interoperability Proof of Concept, moves to Phase 2. Wow, here we go. Phase 2, guys. The Digital Container Shipping Association, this is a standard-setting body in global trade, is a non-profit working group on establishing standards for a common technology foundation that enables global cooperation for digital trade. It is working to address the legal framework needed between these tech companies to enable cross-platform EBL transfers. That's the thing, interoperability, cross-platform. We're talking about digital documents here. Proof of one. Phase 1 of the proof of concept, funded and supported by all DCSA carrier members, was completed in May 2022 with 7 carriers, ExxonMobil and 6 IGP&I approved electronic bills of lading software providers, namely CargoX, eDocs Online, SDocs, and WaveBL. So this is saying that the digital documents are interoperable between these platforms. And this is a very important note. This is how big the International Group of Protection and Indemnity Clubs, and they provide liability coverage for over 90% of the world's ocean-going tonnage. So 90% of the world's ocean-going tonnage is about to get digitalized by these trade platforms. I made a really awesome visual that's going to bring this to life, so then you'll remember it for the rest of your life. We're going to get to that. So this happened on July 12th, 2022. The Digital Container Shipping Association has launched Phase 2 of its electronic bill of lading proof of concept project, working with SDocs, Cargo Online, eDocs Online, or CargoX, eDocs Online, and WaveBL, to establish platform interoperability and ensure that data can be flawlessly exchanged between the different providers' applications. The companies will implement DCSA's EBL interoperability standards, so they create standards for interoperability, to test EBL interoperability through the full bill of lading lifecycle using data that mirrors a live shipment. Do you know what that is called when data mirrors a live shipment? A digital twin. Welcome to concepts of the future. That our economies, our digital economies, are going to run off of. So here's that visual. Here's these ecosystems. CargoX, ExxonMobil, WaveBL, eDocs Online, SDocs, and guess what? Interoperating electronic documents between all of them through this DCSA standard. This was in July, Phase 2. And guess what? They're trying to go for the goal of 100% EBL adoption by 2030. Net zero. Our supply chains are going net zero. The companies involved in DCSA's EBL interoperability standards to harmonize on-data formats before proceeding to test EBL interoperability through the full bill of lading lifecycle using data that represents the digital twin of a cargo ship. So this second proof of concept will be completed by the end of 2022. Upon completion of this proof of concept, the DCSA standards list will be officially released and free to download for any platform provider to incorporate into their EBL software to ensure interoperability. So there's just some important quotes. CargoX for their blockchain document transfer. For the global supply chain, fully interoperable EBLs is a starting point for digital trade. It will make today's practices more efficient, more reliable, and sustainable. But ultimately, it will provide a foundation for further digitalization. Documents are just a start. And then once you get the digital documents, then it moves on to other Industry 4.0 integration, which will then automate and improve process flow and business analysis of things in trade, of businesses, etc., etc. Actors in global supply chains want to be able to choose the best platform for their needs. For service providers, interoperability will remove barriers to adoption and create an operational foundation that fosters innovation. And according to our year-end 2021 research, less than 1.2% of all bills of lading were electronic. We urge all industry stakeholders to get involved and be part of the movement to work towards 100% EBL adoption, the Digital Container Shipping Association. Very important verbiage, guys. This is where we're heading, and this is my treat to you guys, is to bring this to your attention, because guess what? Mainstream media is not covering this. But this citizen is, to bring more citizens to the future. Okay, so here's a visual I created to show you how early we are. Is in 2021, that statement that right up here, I made a visual of it. Here's the 1.2% of electronic bills of lading. Here's the 99% of paper bills. There's over 28.5 billion paper documents in global trade a year. 28.5, that equals to, I did the math, I think it equals to about 39,000 Statues of Liberty high of paper. And guess what's coming in the future? These electronic bills of lading built on distributed ledger technology. So, concluding, this is how early we are in this paperless trade platform revolution. The reason I create this is to inspire you to dig into some regulated rabbit holes, because we're at such an early point in time that there is a lot of different opportunities to make money from this paperless trade transformation. Not financial advice. I hope my content inspires, and maybe one day will make a change in many lives compared to just my own. And as a reminder, this is not a get-rich scheme. This trade digitalization legislation moves slow. It's a 3 to 5 to 10 year process. So start researching now. Be early ahead of the masses. That's all I can say. Because this is a transformation that is never been done before in the world. So in order for mass scale adoption of digital trade platforms, we need global trade jurisdictions to harmonize standard and legislation to allow Industry 4.0 technology to be used at multinational scale. So we need legislation adopted in multiple jurisdictions so we have a green light in different trade jurisdictions. Because if we just do it in one and it's not in others, then they still have the paper standards in all the others. So this ends my summary of some recent events in the paperless trade transformation. And I hope this content sparks a fire inside some of your deep thinking minds and inspires you to abandon the crypto meme coin chase and start looking into the regulated side of the blockchain and DLT revolution. For example, this transformation only happens once in the history of the globe. The world has relied on paper for 400 plus years. And way longer than that. That's when the first bill of lading came out. Paper bill of lading came out in the 1600s. And now we are moving and transforming to a new digital standard of trade documents. So, what a time to be alive, citizens. Let's continue this forward-thinking conversation on the digitalization of trade. Let's keep researching. Let's keep digging. And let's keep bringing awareness. So I hope everyone leaves some comments, leaves some feedback. Let me know if this helped in any way. And cheers. Thanks for listening and watching the Lighthouse Report, edition number 5. And come back for next month for some more regulated traditional finance connections. Yours truly, Citizen of the Future. Until next time.